Hi, I'm Skip Reynolds with Skipton Law Estate Planning and Elder Law here in Centennial, Colorado. And I've been doing a 10-part series talking about 10 big mistakes that people make surrounding Medicaid. And on this video, I want to talk about the mistake of failing to be aware of the Colorado estate recovery rules. So briefly, what is estate recovery? Well, estate recovery is after someone passes away, what can the state of Colorado, i.e. Medicaid, claim against the estate of the person who died so that they can be repaid for the services that they paid for during that person's life by being on Medicaid? So I want to talk about some examples of where people didn't maybe understand these rules and didn't know what to do. So about a year and a half ago, I was talking to a financial planner that I know, and they were asking questions on behalf of one of their clients who had received a benefit from their parents' estate. And the client had received the benefit from the client's estate, had opened the probate, had paid it out to sibling, paid out their share to themselves, and then now they got a letter in the mail as the representative of the estate of mom saying, hey, you owe us, because your mom was on Medicaid, you owe us, I think it was $50,000. The problem was they had already divvied up all the money, and the money had already been spent by both sibling and themselves. So where were they going to come up with the $50,000? And what it was is they didn't understand the estate recovery rules. They didn't understand that they needed to notify Medicaid as a creditor of the estate, which they are, that the person had passed away. Now, Medicaid should already know, right? But you have to notify all known creditors as part of the estate process. Well, this individual didn't understand it. They were doing the probate, the estate, all by themselves with no attorney help. Didn't notify the state. And then 8 months after the death of mom, they get this letter in the mail. Well, how do they pay this off? They don't have $50,000 anymore. They'd already given it away. Do you think they could call up their sibling and say, hey, give me back the money so I can pay Medicaid? Somebody's going to say, yeah, right. But they didn't understand the process of estate recovery. They didn't understand that they needed to let the state know as a creditor of the estate. So that's one example of not understanding the estate recovery rules. But I think sometimes people get also very anticipatory. They think that the state's going to take everything, and that's not necessarily the case. It works differently for a couple versus a single individual. So for example, if you have a couple and you own a house and the person who is on Medicaid dies first, there will be no estate recovery. Why? Because the money and the house is the individual, the spouse that didn't ever go on Medicaid. They can't come after it. There's other exceptions as well for caregivers who are children, etc., things like that. I'm not going to get into all of those exceptions today, but just know that there are exceptions to these rules. But let's go back to the couple scenario. Individual on Medicaid doesn't die first. The spouse who lives in the house dies first. Now, if that house transfers to the individual who is on Medicaid, we can still keep it an exempt resource. But when that person dies, or if that house is sold even during life, it's going to have a negative effect on the estate. Such as if they sell the house during the life of the person on Medicaid, now they've got what? Money, right? And now they might have too much money, more likely than not, to qualify for Medicaid. Or if they die, now guess what's in their estate? Oh yeah, it's this property. So when we have to do the probate for this property, now we have to notify all those creditors, one of which is the state of Colorado, and they can come after their share of the equity of the house. It may not be the full equity, but it may be a chunk of the equity. So not understanding how that works. But with single people, it works differently, because if you have a single person, yes, you can exempt it. Yes, you can put them on Medicaid right away. But how are we paying those bills? Because if they're not living at home, how are we paying the bills? If there's a mortgage or the water bill or the HOA fees or the trash or the electric bills or whatever it is surrounding the cost of that house, how are we paying for it? Because in theory, that single individual should only have $2,000. Well, Usually it's going to have to come out of the kids' pockets, right? Well, do they really want to do that? Is that what they intended to do, etc.? So you can exempt the house, but you got to understand the ramifications of it during the person's life. And then in particular, once they pass away, and what can the state come after? And how you have to notify them through the estate process of their ability to make a claim against this estate. But there are things that we can do even for these single individuals, where we can set up things in a way where, okay, yeah, mom or dad's moving out of the house. That's fine. We don't need to exempt the house. Maybe we've got enough money that we could pay for a few months until we could sell the house. So then we sell the house, and then we can do things there to protect anywhere between 30 to 70% of the estate, depending on a number of different factors, to try to protect some of this money that was inside the value of that house so that Medicaid can't take it all depending on a bunch of different scenarios and circumstances. But there are things that can be done proactively, reactively to try to protect these estates, but you got to understand what the rules are. All right, if you like this video and you want to hear more about Medicaid, how to protect your estate proactively, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, I do bi-monthly workshops via Zoom and in person here in Colorado. There's two ways that you can find out how to attend and when these dates are. One is you can go to our website, which is www.skiptonlaw.com. Click on the workshop page and you can find the dates there. Or you can call our office at 720-440-2774 and we'll get you signed up that way as well. If you like this content, you like this series on Medicaid, I'll be doing more videos on Medicaid, trusts, wills, powers of attorney, etc. So hit the like button if you like it, and we look forward to seeing you back here on our channel for more. Have a great day, everybody.